Hey guys, we are back with another video, and I'm excited to start talking about some more speculation on the Nintendo NX and the APU of the handheld and the console. This is what I think that Nintendo is going to do, and it makes perfect sense when you think about it, since Nintendo, as a company that is investing in the hardware and the chips of the NX handheld device and console units, Nintendo needs to invest smartly, most likely, of course, with AMD, is the one heavily rumored to be providing the chipset for the NX. Here's my thought of what they're going to do. Now, I was reading some information on the Beyond 3D Nintendo NX forums. That's a tech-based forum. It's not NeoGAF. So they're all based on technology, and there's some guys in there that know a lot about how these chips are made, and some of them even have some insider information. I'm not saying what they said was true or not, but it makes perfect sense when you think about it, and here's what I think. Nintendo would be extremely smart, and most likely this is what will happen, is that they will, or they have already purchased their Nintendo NX APUs, their chips, the SoCs, system on chips, that have the CPU cores and the GPU cores built on the chip. That's what an APU is. It's a combination of both that Nintendo will use, provided by AMD, on their next console and handheld device. So, how would Nintendo create this chip with the help of AMD in a cost-effective way where they don't have to go out and buy two separate chips? One that only runs on the handheld and one that only runs on the console, because that'll be a lot of extra money they spend. How would they narrow that down to make it affordable and just for one price? So what they could do, and maybe they already have done it, is they buy one chip design and have that on console, and have the same chip design, same chip even, on the handheld device. And you're thinking, how on earth would they do that? The console obviously would be running games at a higher resolution, better frame rate. How do they have the same chip running on both the handheld and the console itself? That sounds impossible. Not really. So basically, and it's been known to happen in chip design, say like when NVIDIA releases the 770 GTX, and then they release the 770 Ti version of that card, for example. What they usually do in those graphics cards is that they disable certain features of the card, whereas parts of the card won't work and they will run at a lower power rate. So they will disable parts of the graphics card, sell it at a lower price, but the card will still have a lot of the features of its bigger brother, like the 780, for example. Now, that is probably what Nintendo can do with the NX APU. They can release the console APU and the handheld APU for the same chip. However, on the handheld portion, they can disable maybe 4 of the cores out of the 8, or disable, part of the graphics outputting power of the GPU area of the APU. If they do that, they could theoretically have the same chip that they bought through AMD run on both the console and the handheld. When they put the APU in their handheld devices, all they need to do is disable part of the chip on the handheld device. The chip itself would be pretty small. We know that already, how they design them. So it could, the same form factor of the chip itself inside the machines could fit in both the console and the handheld, no problem, you wouldn't notice it. What they disable, though, for battery consumption and for what the handheld can do would be different, though. So when you think of it that way, how smart Nintendo is, they could really do this and release one chip that runs on all your devices, or your 2 devices in this instance, and they could get away with it. And I think that's really smart for them to do. So theoretically, you could have your handheld device running games at, say, 540p, like Vita resolution, and then the console version would run with more graphical features at 1080p, basically like doubling the performance and the graphics as well. And if it's based on AMD's latest technology, the handheld device would probably have games that look just as good as the Wii U. So you're looking at something that is really smart for Nintendo to do. You got one price and all these handhelds, all these consoles that you could use. So that's my thought on that. Tell me what you guys think. Is that a good idea for Nintendo to do? Have they already done that? Theoretically, it is possible. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe and comment, and we'll talk to you guys soon.